Ever wondered how to exactly set your financial targets? Have you ever been sitting there at the start of a new year or at the end of a financial year and having to come up with what is the magic number? What do I want to be earning this year? How do I do it? And look, for most people, it's just a confronting thing to ask. Now, after educating over 6,500 PTs and business owners in the last, I guess 6 years, we've seen this common question be the biggest struggle. Normally people just say $100,000 a year because it just seems like the magic number. However, if there was a way that you could actually get a formula to structure how to keep improving in terms of hitting your financial targets, would you be interested? Now, I'm here to tell you that I reckon even 90% of business coaches out there won't be able to describe or explain or even know this model. Normally what happens is it's all pie in the sky thing. They'll ask you, well, what do you want to achieve for this financial year? And when you're not sure, they won't really have a method or a way to give you some guidance. And so really when you're looking for a business coach or you're getting business advice, if a business coach is unable to answer even this basic question, how to run you through this, then that should be a red flag for you right from the get-go. However, I digress, so let's get back to you. I'm Jason Yabanovich from Create PT Wealth, and like I said, we have educated over 6,500 personal trainers since 2008. It's something we're very proud of and something we're very passionate about. We're going to help personal trainers to see what is the full potential for them. Now, don't get caught up in you have to earn 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. It really does boil down to what do you want from your life. Now, for some people, it's way too big of a goal to think about earning 100,000 or 200,000 if for the last financial year they only earned $30,000 per year. So there's a lot of hype out there, a lot about how to earn six figures. And look, I'll be the first to stick my hand up and admit we do that as well. We want to get people excited, but it's not for everybody. And this model will teach you exactly how to scale it back so you can see how it's achievable. And it's not just all hype and pie in the sky stuff. And really, if you're in business and you want to be successful at it, it's a long-term strategy. Now, everyone's different. There are people that are really driven and motivated, and they'll get there quicker. Just like you have some clients that will get their goals quicker. They put more time, energy, make it a bigger priority, and really go that extra mile to make sure they get the results. Then there are other people that'll chip away and they'll do it in their own time and they'll still get there. It really doesn't matter. What I want to show is the actual model and the technique for how you can get your business to the next level. So you got a picture here of a lady sitting by the road. She's obviously running out of fuel, and you might be thinking, what's that got to do with how to set my financial targets? Well, like anything, it's a journey, and in business, that's your journey if you've decided to be and get into business. And like this poor unfortunate lady here, she thought filling up the car was a good idea to get her to her end destination. But that's only the first step. So if you're going to go somewhere, maybe somewhere you haven't been before, and keep in mind in business, you're heading in, I guess, into areas and territories, and you're heading to a place that you haven't been yet. So it's all guesswork and speculation and can be hope at some point. Now, what this lady didn't do was plan for the stops. So where else am I going to stop? Where exactly do I need to refill? How do I make that a strategic plan rather than just getting in the car, driving and hoping for the best? And so that's what I want to do, is give you a plan so you know where to stop, you know what to look for, so you don't run out of fuel, and in this case, that your business doesn't go under. So let me rip straight into it. I'll show you a simple yet powerful method for figuring out how to set your financial targets. And like I said, I'll be bold enough to say that 90% of actual business coaches out there don't know this strategy themselves. Next, recommend a must-do as the next step from this breakthrough video lesson. So really, it's just a small insight, a small peek. And what I hope it leaves you feeling is that how much more there is for you to know and understand, and that should be exciting. That should be something that fills you with enthusiasm to go, if I didn't know this small part, what else don't I know that's holding me back? But you'll only do the first and second step if you are dead set serious about running and having a successful business. Now, and I'll explain my definition of a successful business, and I understand that for everybody that can be different. I can also assure you, like I said before, that just a lot of business coaches out there in general, especially in our industry, simply don't know how to do this. And if you're a coach and you don't know how to do this, you really shouldn't be coaching. It's really a simple fundamental. The problem is why that happens is that you got self-proclaimed coaches and you don't have actual accredited coaches, people that have actually done the business training and skill set. You can be successful really without knowing these basic concepts. Okay, but we're not here to talk about what other coaches do or don't know. That's for you. If you're going to get a coach, that's for you to definitely ask them some basic questions to see. If we look at it, all business want to see growth to some degree. Now, I'm yet to be in a business consult with a PT business owner and have them say, look, I don't really want my business to grow. I'm happy for it to struggle and, not develop. So not many business owners know how to do it though. So, I mean, when I hear people say, oh, I'm happy with the way it's going, when I explore further, really it can be a big thing to admit, one, that they need help, and two, that they're not happy with it, because then you've got to focus on that. It's sometimes better to just I guess have a small light of ourselves to say that we're happy with what it's going, because if we're not happy with it, as you know, in the fitness industry term, when you're dealing with a client, the hardest sell to clients are those who are still a bit into denial and say that they're happy with their health and fitness and their current shape, where you can look at it from an outside perspective going that that's not the case. So that can be one of those things that happen. I see people struggle to answer the question, what do you want to earn? So we do that many business, what we call blueprints, when we do an analysis of someone's overall business and how it's operating. And that's a requirement before we'll take someone on as an intern student or a coaching student or someone into our accredited programs, because we really need to understand where the business is operating at. Now, I'd say 9.9 times out of 10, when we ask for what they want to earn, they've rather plucked the figure out or they simply don't know. And either of those two things are okay. It's okay not to know, and it's okay just to pluck it out there, because really, unless you've been educated in this field, then you wouldn't know. And that's why people come and seek out people such as ourselves to help them understand how to set that. So if you have no end goal, it's going to make the rest of your business decisions just guesswork. And what I mean by that is when people say to me, I'd like a better hand with lead generation or marketing or sales. Well, if we don't really know what we're striving towards, so if the end goal was to earn $100,000 per year, and that's, remember, gross or profit, you've got to work that out, then it's going to be hard to determine, well, how many sales appointments do we need to do every week based on your conversion rate. If your conversion rate's low, of course, we need to improve your ability to get a higher conversion rate in your sales. How many leads does that mean we need to have coming into the business? Because we know that, say, you get 20 leads per week, and you get on to, say, 12 of them, and out of 12 you book 6 or 7 appointments. So we need to be able to figure those things out to then get to the end goal. So sure, you can work on lead generation, just get more leads and improve your marketing. However, it all needs to start at what are we actually trying to achieve, and then everything works backwards from there. Now, once again, that's business coaching 101. That's where it needs to start. So if anybody come to me and just said they want help with their lead generation, I'm going to put the brakes on, and I'm going to say, look, what's your end objective? What's your end goal? And because I can help you with the lead generation marketing, but unless you really know what you're striving towards, it's going to make that challenging. You also need to know then what are you prepared to spend to get a lead and to do your marketing, and all those things. We need to make it not guesswork. They need to be as predictable as possible to make sure we're investing and getting a good return on investment. And come the financial year, you will simply hope that you've done okay. So if you haven't had something to work towards target-wise, financial target-wise, and you haven't break that into weekly, monthly targets, then you're going to get to the end of the financial year and you're going to be crossing your fingers hoping that it just worked out in your favour. So, it's very important that we have these end targets and goals. So here's the formula, and I don't think it'll sound simple, and I doubt if many people would be able to pluck this figure out of the air or just guess it. However, one thing that Brad and I did once we got onto this concept many, many years ago was that it was enable us to plan out for the next 20 years. Now, that was firstly deciding when we'd want to be finished doing this type of work. there was a few other things around that. But if you've ever said to somebody, do your plan for your next 5 years, most people struggle doing the first year. However, if you've got this simple formula, it makes it a lot easier to take it over 20 years. So how would you do it then if you're going to do it over 20 years? Well, it can be challenging, right? And so you can just pluck figures, but with no real method. So we really want to have a method to do it. And I know how challenging it can be. Like I said before, for years, I simply just guessed mine. I just went, I guess if I earned 100,000 last year, I guess I'll 150, and there was no real method to it. So here's the formula. And what we would look at is a 20% growth on every year. And this is what you want everybody to say. Now, it could be 30%, 40%. But keep in mind, we were going to do over 20 years. So business is a long-term, if that's your strategy, long-term. Unless you're going to build a business up and want to sell it, and that's a whole different business in itself. We're going to look at the concept of 20% growth each year. So if we look at 20% growth, say for this, you just got in a business the first year, you did 40,000. We're not looking at profit and loss at the moment. We're not looking at what it took you to make that 40 grand. That's another business lesson in itself. But if we were just going to project over the next 5 years, even at 20% growth each year, then we'd say the next year would be 48,000. Then the next year would be 57. As you can see, third year 68. Fourth year, 82, and then year 5, 98. So for some people, that would be too slow, and for other people, you go, that seems very manageable. There's a bigger picture to it, though, because I'll explain soon why. However, if you were started off on 40,000 a year, and in 5 years' time, you would earn around about 100,000 per year, which is very realistic when you look at it. I mean, from year to year, it's 8,000 more, then that for a lot of people would be very achievable. What that allows you to do then is it allows people to free up a bit and be more productive, more proactive, and not set a massive target that subconsciously they're going, I've got no chance in hell in achieving that, which then makes them counterproductive and reactive and just sets themselves up for failure. So if you're looking at it, you go, well, okay, 20% growth, if I was aiming for that every year, I could definitely see how that would be achievable. And for the average person working a 9-to-5 job, there's very little chance that they're going to go from $40,000 per year, if they started now, and in 5 years' time, over double that. So there's very little chance of it happening. So it'd be a good position to be in. However, when you know that, then you can go and work out what this means across all the key areas of your business. So how many leads need to be increased per week, per month, per year? So when we went from the 40 to 48, the 20% growth, what does that mean? Because you'll have stats and figures on what it took to get the 40,000, and that's a hint, by the way, if you don't keep track of your targets throughout the year, you need to. So how many sales appointments did you do? How many leads did you get overall? You need to be able to track that stuff. How many leads did you get, and what do they need to be increased by if we were looking at getting that 20% return? And of course, you need to know your current leads, like I just said, and conversion rates, because maybe you have a poor conversion rate and that needs to be improved. So if over the year you tracked it and you had a 50% conversion rate, so every time you got in a sales appointment, you only converted 1 out of 2, or sorry, even 10. If you had 10 appointments of the week, you only converted 5. Imagine if you just could get that up to 70% conversion rate, 80% conversion rate, maybe even 90%, and then potentially without even actually having to get more leads, just increase your sales conversion rate, then all of a sudden you're going to get your 20% growth. So that's why we need to be able to test and measure everything. A bit like when you've got a client, you need to do a fitness test, flexibility test. You need to be able to test and review everything so you know what's working and what's not. If we don't have any stats and figures, then once again, we're back to guesswork. And if nothing changes, then we shouldn't expect our financial situation to change either. So how many new sessions or client sign-ups does that mean per week, per month, and over the course of the year? So we have to look at that as well. And once again, this can give you a powerful insight into your business. So example, price increase or other models. So the more information you have in your business, the more statistics you have, the better. And one of our methods that we've seen to work time and time again is simply have a price increase. So someone comes, wants to do some work with us. One of the things they're looking at is a return on investment on their education with us, and it is an investment in themselves, in their career, and the longevity of themselves, and how to be successful, and for the rest of their business career. And what we look at is what ways immediately, we call it low-hanging fruit, can we get these people a return on investment? And even if they got 20 sessions or 20 clients, and they can, even have a $10 increase over 20 sessions, an extra $200 per week coming in, and pretty much can pay for a large portion and pretty much cover the price of the program. So it's not that hard when you have the information, the figures, and the experience and the know-how. So that's what it would look like. This is just a basic template, of course. And I've just got some basic templates here. So if the current year was 40, and year one we're looking at 20% growth and 48,000, we would look at what's 28%. What's the growth for the leads? So if you looked at your leads for that first year, the current year, sales, and also maybe there's a retention rate in there as well. So if you can increase your retention rate, if you've got a retention rate clients, over the average, so you've got to work out the average, of course, of all your clients over a 12-month period. You can work out the average lifetime value of a customer. So it might work out to be 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, who knows. But if you can improve that and get it out, then that can also have a dramatic increase and impact on your figures. And so you would just do that working all the way along. And so if you just stuck with that 20%, you can see how easily it's just a mathematical equation that you could take it over a 20-year period and have it all based on figures. Then we look at this. So when Brad and I do ours, and when we're educating our students, doesn't mean you only need to shoot for 20% growth. No, well, once you've done this exercise, and you've got the information, got the stats, you started to learn and understand sales, marketing, lead gen, all those things come together, you might go, well, look, 20% is really achievable. And you might be sitting there going, well, for the first start of your business, if you only earn 30 or 40,000 this year, it wouldn't be anything to expect. You could double it. If you got all the key components right, it wouldn't be unrealistic to go. And we've seen it time and time again. You can go from 40 to 80. It's just that this is just a better way to do it over the course of a longer stretch in terms of working out your business success. And there will come a point in time where, I can remember our first few years, we had like 162% growth. Then it would start to go, 130, 100, 80%, and it can work out that way. But over the long term, the more earnings that you make, of course, 20 or 30% is a good increase. So you could do 30, 40, even 100%. This is a formula to work out, so you can actually see in front of you, in black and white, what's going to be required from you. Once you go through this method, and there are a few more parts to it, you can see how realistic it's going to be for you. You can also have a very clear idea of what needs to be done. So, like I said, back to that stats, and you'll get sick of hearing me say it, it's very important. If you've got stats on what's working well in your business and what's not, then that's a key indication about where you need to spend some time and energy to improve that area. That would be a weakness. This then allows you to particularly focus on what actions and goals need to be achieved. And so this is where, there's a great story. So, for me to be able to explain this in a short period of time will make sense, I imagine, to you. However, what did it take me to get this information? Well, a lot of years in business, a lot of education, a lot of study, a lot of time, a lot of money invested to get to this. And it's that plumber story where someone's got a leaky pipe and the pipe's leaking water. The plumber comes in, walks, he's there for all of 2 minutes, gets out a big wrench, and he just starts banging this pipe with 3 big loud bangs, and the problem's fixed. His bill for doing that is 210 cents. Now the person says, what's the 10 cents for? The plumber says, the 10 cents is for the 3 bangs that I did on your pipes. The 200 is for knowing where to hit it. And so that's what effective coaching is. It's like passing on information that has taken a lot of time, energy, and effort to understand and learn, so we can help people that don't have education not go through all the hard knocks, the mistakes, There'll be mistakes made, but we're going to limit them because we know where to hit the pipe. And so that's the real point of this, is that it can sound easy. A bit like with you, with your clients, you've had to spend that time, energy, mistakes, learning, money to know the quickest, most effective way to get these people results. The second step, I'll be straight up with you and to the point. You're going to need to invest in educating yourself in business, sales, marketing, and systems. And I know some of those things may not seem appealing. So if this means doing a business course, I recommend if you're going to do a business course, do an accredited one you can get a certification in it, or that's really comes highly recommended. So attending seminars is great from people that really do your due diligence on these people, make sure that they can prove they got, without a shadow of a doubt, that they've been there, done it, have a good track record. It's easy to be an expert online these days. When I mean online, not online business, but it can be, it's easy to promote yourself as an expert without having really any strong credentials. Always look for things like, are they aligned with Fitness Australia? Is it accredited? Seminar. It's not always the be end all, but it's just other things for you to be aware of and look at in terms of if they're aligned themselves with someone like Fitness Australia. It means Fitness Australia is definitely going to back those people and have looked into them in a big way. Getting yourself a coach, or if you are like me, you do all these things, then that's what I strongly recommend. So I recommend books, reading, seminars, and definitely a coach to help you fast track that. Look, at the end of the day, it's why people come and get you as a personal trainer. You're their health and fitness coach, and they want you to pass on your knowledge, experience, and be able to help them get their results, something that would take them a lot longer if they were trying to do it by themselves. However, there's nothing sexy about business, and I know if you're thinking, there's nothing sexy about business when you first start, but it can become very sexy. But what it gives you definitely is sexy, in my opinion. So there's nothing better than being able to have the flexibility of taking holidays, not only when you want, but where you want to take them. It's a very liberating feeling to go, I've always wanted to go here, but, I've been thinking about the money, or being concerned that when you do go on holidays, that you might be able to take and you can maybe afford, but then have that fear or concern that, will your clients stick around? Am I actually losing money? And why should that happen anyway? So if you're going in business for yourself, one of the reasons was to, I imagine, a better lifestyle, more flexibility. We leave a day job though, where you get holiday pay, sick day pay. So why not incorporate that into your business life? You might want to be able to purchase your dream home, your houses. And look, I have to be honest, I'll be the first to say, before I was in the position, I could see where my business could earn more money and I could do this. And also get in mind, look, I'm somebody who failed high school, quite badly. So it doesn't really have anything to do with being, smart. It has to be with somebody who's got plenty of drive, ambition, and an openness and willing to learn. And so for a lot of areas, I didn't think I'd even own a home or get even a home loan because they all seemed too big and too scary. However, to be able to buy my dream home and set that up was, it's not just about the home, it's about what it represents. So then all of these things are just measures. Maybe just driving the car, you're like, well, once again, I'm not so much into cars, but I like motorbikes and stuff like that. So it's really just, once again, it's a reflection of giving yourself some choice. And, look, why not? Why not have the stuff? It's just that, it's probably the meaning of it. It's just, once again, a measure of where you've come and the hard work has paid off. Giving back, I'm a big fan and believer that once you do start making that, it's such a powerful thing to be able to give back. Not just financially, but with your time. What I find is people that have more wealth give more time, and people that are out there trying to make money because they don't feel like they have enough, they give money because they don't have the time. So I used to donate a day of my time every month to a place called Ozcare, which is a drug and alcoholic rehab centre in Brisbane and Coorparoo, and I did that for a long time, and that's where I felt truly wealthy because my business was running by itself. And I went and donated some time to, physically training those guys and also doing some mindset stuff as well. Being able to hang out with your family and, take those holidays when you want. and really give them a lifestyle that you want for them and you desire. Really, what we look for is really good people that just want to go better. And it doesn't matter what level, they just want to go better. And we're looking for those good people. And if you're watching this, I'm a strong belief that you're one of those people because you're taking the first step. Really, I'd like you to let us show you how we can help increase your profits while working towards decreasing your hours, and have a choice. Like at certain times of your life, you might go, no, I'm really happy doing 20 hours or 20 sessions or whatever it may be. However, on the flip side, I know that in 3 or 4 years, I would like that to change. And that's really what we're going to help you to do. Discover how to attract new leads into your business and snap them out of a non-buying trend. So there's so much, with so much competition, and not only just competition, just with so much marketing and advertising, it's sometimes hard to get through all that clutter because people get so desensitized to seeing marketing. So it's really got to jump out and stand out. And that's an art form in itself, but once you understand a few basic principles, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to do that. And in our 2-day seminar, I run you through my 9 big tips for how to do that. So it's quite effective and quite powerful. Uncover the simple method for earning passive income. Now, once again, I touched on it before. Wouldn't it be nice, and just imagine for a moment going away on holidays and checking your bank statement a week or 2 weeks while on holidays and seeing that cash flow build and grow rather than decreasing. Imagine the difference in your body and how that would feel and your state, how much you would enjoy that time away. It would make a big, big difference. It allow you to be more present and enjoy those moments rather than thinking about what you have to come back to. The other thing is just at the end of the day, passive income is really what it's all about. If you're earning passive income, also means that you're giving back as well because you're helping this industry that we love so much by providing jobs and other opportunities for people. So very powerful. How to take the sales out of selling and convert 9 out of 10 clients. Now, we don't call it selling, we call it solution providers. Someone has a problem, has an issue to do with their health, weight or fitness, and we're the experts in that field and we can provide a solution for it. And it's a real process that we use so you don't feel like you're selling to somebody and get that icky feeling. Also, it then stops you feeling a fear of rejection. It just becomes a conversation chat. And at the end of that conversation chat, then both parties can decide if working together makes sense. However, there is still a sales element to it, there is a structure to it, so it's more predictable. If you're someone who does a sales presentation that's different every time dramatically, and some days you can be on, some days you're not, then that's a real issue and that's what we want to resolve. Next we'll look at what it takes to have a mindset of a 6-figure plus trainer. So, from earning 30,000 to a trainer who can earn, 100,000, there's going to have to be a mind shift change in thinking. One of our past students, Chris Cochran from Sydney, when he first came to us, he was doing about 40 hours of PT a week. He was in there day in, day out. He was just burning the candle and almost ready to go, quit. By investing heavily in himself on a business front, personal development front, he was able to dramatically change that in a very short time. In under 3 years, he's now got 20 trainers working for him, and he's got many locations in Sydney and now just starting in Perth with rooms to expand. And so what's the major difference between Chris and, say, someone else who's been in the industry for 10 years, 20 years in the same position? It's the simple fact he's invested in himself. We look at, Brad will run you through and share his method of how he went from $30 per hour to $440 for 45 minutes. And so a lot of people get really hung up on this. But once again, we don't do anything by just, hey, that sounds like a good idea. There's a real strategy and method. And if you didn't get to 440, it's not such a big deal. However, you'd want to know the strategy for how that happens, how to do it, and how Brad did it more importantly. How to increase your charge out rate without going broke and losing all your clients. So there's a step-by-step process. And it's a little bit like, the increase in your income yearly 20%. We look at a strategy so you can keep increasing your charge out rate without going broke and losing all your clients. So it's a real powerful and some real key components to how to do that effectively. Grab hold of a system for being able to take holidays when you like and not stress about losing money or clients. In fact, you'll actually increase your income during that time. So these are the main things that we look at, the main things that we know from personal experience and working with trainers that really sets up a successful business. My question to you is, are you open to the possibilities? If you are thinking it sounds too good to be true, that's a normal response. So, and if you're sitting where you are now, then maybe that's the case. Maybe it does seem like it's all too good to be true. If you're thinking, hell yeah, this is exactly what I've been wanting, then that's also normal. Really back to the question, my first question is, can you just stay open and put your judgments to one side for a moment? And if you're willing to do that, then we just explore what is possible and what is the next step for you. However, don't just take my word from it. Here's Hayley Beckett from Perth, and I'll just give you a moment to read that. And, when we first met Hayley, we didn't have seminars in Perth. So she flew all the way from Perth over to Melbourne, and that was a big commitment itself. And she's been with us now for 4 years, and there's a reason why someone would keep getting educated and mentoring from someone in that time is because she keeps going to the next level. This is this is not the latest testimonial. Hers income's even gone beyond that. So I'll just be quiet for a moment so you can have a quick read of that. Okay, well, I hope that's been empowering for you, and we've got many cases like that. If you go to any of our websites, you can see plenty of success stories. Here's Peter Prowse. He was I think it was in one of the first years that we came on board, and as you can see, Pete really developed and his business over that short period of time as well. So that's Peter, and that was Hayley. This is Janine Mole. Janine Mole was out west of Brisbane, in a small place called Dalby, and her story was quite amazing as well. She was really struggling when she came to our workshop. So just another case of success stories. And like I said, if you would like to review any more of those, you can go to any of our websites, and you can spend a very long time reading through those. Okay, so the special opportunity, and I feel like personally I would do you a disservice if I didn't allow you to have a pathway which you go down to help you, because we've helped some other trainers. And I feel like that would be a disservice, because you would have, I guess, a little bit of a taste of some great information and what you need to apply. But there's so much more to that. And I know myself, I used to get frustrated where I heard some good content, and it left me wanting more. And hopefully that's how you're feeling right now, that you're hungry for more information, more knowledge. And so what we've got is we run 2-day seminars all around the country, and we want to make them as affordable as possible so people can get themselves along to that. However, we also know that without a lack of some kind of time and financial commitment, that doesn't get valued, and that can be a tip for you in your business. So we are going to take $300 off the normal ticket price to make it more incentivized for you, but it's a good sign of commitment from your end, so we know people who turn up are the people who are more serious. We're not looking for everybody. We're not looking for people that might think it's something they want to do, or kind of like the idea of it. We want people to go, you know what, I'm committed to finding out more and see how I can be better. You can receive up to 19 CEC points from attending our workshop. The course is accredited by 12 CEC points for Fitness Australia, and we have the additional 7 that you can earn when turning up to the workshop. Now, to go and do 19, use 19 CEC points, especially with ours too, it would value $600. Now, if you're right for CEC points, and when you actually need those CEC points, let us know, and that'll be a huge saving and time commitment for you later on down the track. You just have to contact our office. Receive our Personal Trainer's Guide to Wealth Creation pack. It's our home study pack, and that's valued at $997. So people that are all around the world that can't get to Australia, or they're in a different country, Predominantly, that's why we developed that this model. So it's a seminar on DVDs, MP3s, audio, so you can listen to the car, listen on your iPod, watch them on your computer, watch them at home, wherever you need. It's also a very strong resource tool because while there's a lot of the sessions are on in that pack, there's a lot of sessions that we've done that aren't at the 2-day seminar that you'll be attending. So also, repetition is the mother of skill, so you don't just hear something once. You want to go back and listen to our 3-step formula for how to convert clients, how to overcome objections. You want to go back and really immerse yourself and listen to those bits of vital information again. You get a copy of our #1 best-selling book, A Personal Trainer's Guide to Wealth Creation. So you also get that. And of course, you'll receive a ticket to our 2-day seminar. It will be for a limited time only. We're very big on getting people to take action, and we want to induce that. We want to make sure that it's something that you wouldn't want to miss out on, something you want to jump on and act. So you'll only invest $297. Payment options are available if that's something you'd like to discuss. You can email Lynn at our office to find out more about the payment options or to get yourself a ticket. So that's one option that you can do. Or you can go now to that particular website and just to ensure that your seat is going to be secured. So they do go fast. We aim to keep them more intimate, so we don't look for massive groups. We do aim for the 50 to 60 mark. That way, we've figured out over 6 years it's still really personalised. You get to ask heaps of questions, you get to engage, and you get personal time. So really important. Now, if you're sitting there, I just go act now. Go take that next step. For a measly $297, you're going to get a massive return on your investment. One strategy alone is going to do that. Now, if you're sitting there thinking about the time off, dates, or the rest of it, the first step to be successful in business is to make it happen. So if you're really committed, you'd make it happen. Just like you would say to your clients, if they're really serious about getting the weight off, they would find the time, exercise. Not only find it, they would make it. They would invest in getting the proper diet on order, their proper eating. So it's really a responsibility from here to make this happen for yourself. All dates, times, and locations are on the website, so that's all explained. If you have any other questions about that for some reason, no system's perfect. So for some reason the dates are down or they're not up or the site, then what you do is contact Lynn at the office. So here's what you receive. This is bonus one. That's our home study pack. So it's one pack, of course, but you get all those. It's 10 different DVDs and audio, so quite a substantial pack. There's our bonus audios in there, our sales process about how to convert 9 out of 10 clients. So you also get that. That's exciting. You also get a copy of our best-selling book, as I said, and if that's some people like to get that signed, we can sign that for you at the venue. You get the 12 CEC points, which is accredited by Fitness Australia, and as I explained before, you can get up to 19 CEC points when you attend, and we can explain how when you attend that event. And it's all backed up by our no-risk guarantee. So we guarantee to show you how to find regular, high-paying clients all year round, and a lot more than that, of course. It's getting your profits up, your sales conversions up. So we'll give you all of that. And look, the reality is that it's a double your money back guarantee. We want to make it so risk averse for you that if you go there and you attend the 2 days and you say that was absolute waste of my time, I didn't get a thing out of it, I could have been back working in my business, then we would urge you to come up and ask your money back and tell us. In 6 years' time, that's never happened. That's how confident we are about what we do, how do we do it. However, we would be only too happy to do that because we'd want that information anyway. So we'd encourage you to come up if that was the case. I can assure you, I very, 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 very sincerely doubt that that's going to happen. Really in a position to make 2014 great and not just good. So the next move is up to you. I've shown you that attending this 2-day seminar is as risk-free as an offer can come. We really want to open the door for you so you can casually walk through and grab a hold of the opportunities on the other side. You and I both know that if you've read this far into the letter, you're seriously interested in improving your business and personal outcome. All that's left is now to take action. There's the website once again. I'll be really looking forward to meeting you and seeing you. And giving you those key tools to make your business a raging success. I'd like to thank you. My name is Jason Bannister again, and hoping to see you at one of our 2-day seminars.